Tornadoes has just started. Let's take a listen.
We're trying to get that debris plan in place. I know that right now one of the big hangups is they're waiting on logistics just to be able to get the proper equipment into the town. We understand and we completely empathize with the victims of this tragedy. There's no doubt about that. But with that said, we can't allow the traffic jam in this small town to hinder the operations of the emergency crews that are trying to, one, open up the roadways around the town, and then two, be able to remove any dangerous debris, and then three, be able to allow all the other equipment that needs to come in, as Craig said, to be able to get the utilities up and running again, along with making sure that everybody remains safe.
Will the shelter still be open for those families displaced?
Yes, at this point, the Salvation Army has set up a shelter for approximately 100 people at the Monmouth Armory. So that is in place, and they do plan on keeping that open at this time.
So you feel like everything went according to plan in terms of as much as you can plan for something like this, while over siren, how everyone reacted?
I can't stress enough how remarkable it was to see the residents heed the warnings this time. We all have heard the stories before of these residents who walked outside during the storm because they wanted to get a picture of it, because they wanted to just experience it themselves, and unfortunately that ends up causing them some sort of injury or possibly death. We are so happy to hear that there are only a few very minor injuries, a couple scrapes, a couple cuts, and for this much damage that's happened in a town like this, it is remarkable to see that actually take place. So we have to credit the residents for heeding that warning and making sure to seek shelter when they needed to. I remember actually watching all of your local news stations last evening, and I saw that there was a lack of live time pictures coming in, which I personally found remarkable, because that meant that everybody was heeding that warning and they were taking shelter. They weren't trying to get the pictures. They weren't trying to put it on Facebook. They were just trying to save their lives and their families' lives, and we credit them so much for that.
What's your message to the people of Cameron right now? I mean, I'm sure some of them are pretty low morale right now. What's your message to them?
The biggest message that we could possibly give them is that we are working. We are trying to establish things and get them back to a certain level of normal. We understand that they've lost a great deal, and we really want to make sure that they understand that if they have been denied access to the town, it's not because we're trying to keep them out just to keep them out. It's because we want to keep them out for their safety and also for their property's safety. We want to make sure that we have just the number of people in here that are going to be able to effectively help restore order to the town, restore utilities to the town, and get them back on their feet as soon as possible.
Any help coming from the state?
As far as I know, that's going to happen, but at this point, we are just assessing the situation and we're waiting for word to come down to be able to allow us to see what's going to happen next.
When you talk about this community, but I've seen Monmouth Fire Department, area fire department, emergency crews. What's that mean to you to have the whole community?
It's amazing when you actually see the number of fire departments that have come down. And in all actuality, when you think about the number of volunteers that we've had to turn away, we had to shut down the town last evening. Volunteers were wanting to stream in. They were wanting to come in and help, and that really does speak to the soul of the Midwest. I mean, it really is amazing to see that happen. But unfortunately, we have to turn them away so that way we can actually facilitate and get things going without a hindrance, because I mean, you guys coming into town saw how hard it was just to navigate through the small streets with some.
And there you have it. We just heard from official from Cameron, Illinois, updating everybody on the situation where we did have reported tornadoes touch down, 9 of those in the state of Illinois. And you did hear the official there. He says he credits the residents there for actually saving their lives.